Welcome to Unquiet You, the podcast that gives voice to the fire inside of you. I'm your host, Amy Gleaves, life and success coach, mom, stepmom, speaker, newly divorced, and a woman on a mission to help you rise. Here we dive into the messy, magical work of becoming who you were always meant to be, loud, clear, and unapologetically you. From healing trauma and breaking cycles to finding purpose and living fully awake, this space is for the bold, the curious, and the ones who are done playing small. If you're ready to ditch the silence, step into your power, and create a life that feels like you are in the right place. Let's get into it. Welcome to the first episode of Unquiet You. I'm your host, Amy Gleaves. Today, we're going to talk about who I am and what this podcast is going to be about. So let's get in. I am a life and success coach. I've been certified since I was 26, so close to 20 years for now. And I am a mom, stepmom, newly divorced, speaker, someone who's always been interested in helping other people. I got started in my career working in the real estate world, coaching real estate agents on sales and staying in the business or getting out of the business. I realized at a very young age that I had a big interest in helping other people. So I began at age 12 when I saw the movie Straight Talk with Dolly Parton, really thinking about ways that I can help other people, give advice. I always thought I would be like her and be on the radio and give advice when people would call in. Wasn't sure what that would look like, but I also knew that I had the skill of asking a lot of questions and talking a lot. So I knew at some point those would come in handy. I just didn't know how. Went on, I became a teen mom at 17. Did that for quite a while. Met my husband and he had 5 kids. We had a kid together. And so I kind of put my work to the side. But in the meantime, I always coached people. I coached for a nonprofit where we help single moms get back on their feet and learn how to be a parent, learn how to get a job. We taught vision board classes. This was all during the time of The Secret when it came out. It was perfect timing in my life. It was as I was being introduced to coaching, which at the time was called success coaching, not life coaching. But we really started digging into the whole idea of like law of attraction and asking really deep questions of why are people doing what they do? And the answers started to really get my brain moving. And when I realized why I was unhappy, it really wasn't because of the circumstances that I had surrounding me. It was really because of the thoughts and the beliefs I had about myself. And so learning how to unravel those, how to work through those, and the idea that we can actually hold an emotion and decide if it works for us, how to handle an emotion and still be okay was one of the biggest gifts and lessons I ever learned. So I decided back in 2020 to get back into coaching full time and got recertified, decided to start my own business. And I was only going to coach women. And that has kind of turned into coaching multiple people on multiple things. But I truly believe that all of us have a gift inside of us that is a burning fire. I say a desire to come out and for us to live it. I believe that when you choose to live fully and unapologetically you, that's when that version of you comes out. And so I'm on a mission to help as many women get to that point in life and live the life that they've truly desired. And the reason we're doing the podcast is I have wanted to do a podcast since 2015. I became a step parent back in 2010, and it was a journey that I was extremely unprepared for. It was a journey that I wasn't sure how to navigate. I wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't even sure what I was doing half the time, but I realized along the way, I started a journal for my step parenting, for the courts and everything about 2011. And I never understood why, but I knew that it would one day help someone else. So I kept every message, kept every email, journaled about every situation. And as I was working through that, I realized a lot of other people were in the same shoes. And it is not a task that you take on lightly. And a lot of people back down from it. They can't handle it. But what I've learned is through the coaching that I had before I got married and before I became a stepmom, it really, really helped play a part in learning this new world that I was in. So back in 2015, I decided I wanted to start a podcast and honestly just never did. I always allowed all the thoughts of like, what if this doesn't work? Who's going to listen to it? All the things stay with me and kind of held it over my head. And so once I started my business in 2021, I decided that it was the next thing. I decided that once I had this up and going, my clients were built, I was really, really going to go hardcore into this podcast and share what I've learned, share tools that I use, and hopefully give people hope and desire to want to live the life that they've always truly wanted to live. I believe that you can be a great mom and own your own business. I believe you can be a great woman and own your own business or do what you love or have a passion. I believe that we all have a purpose, and it can be bigger than being a wife and a mom. It can be so many more things. I believe my gift is to help people uncover that. And so that's what we're going to do on this podcast. We're going to have weekly podcast where I teach lessons, tell you about personal stories and how I handled it, and give advice on topics that people have sent me messages about. We will also have guest speakers, people who I've coached in the past, people who have been with me for a really long time in my life and used my coaching. There's other people that I'm going to have on here who knew a version of me, and now they know this version of me. And so we'll talk about life. We'll talk about life after divorce. We'll talk about the divorce process. We'll talk about all the ups and downs with having grown children versus having younger children. This podcast is just going to be a catch-all, and we're going to talk about everything. Nothing will be off limits. So I hope that you tune in. And if you have any topics that you want to talk about, you can message me and we can get something on the list. But I'm hoping that every week you're able to be inspired, take action, and ask yourself what your purpose is. Thanks for being here and for choosing to be a little louder, a little braver, and a whole lot more you. If this episode spoke to you, I'd love it if you subscribed, left a review, or shared it with someone who needs it. Until next time, keep tuning in to the fire inside. Stay unquiet.